10 taquitos. What is going on, everyone? Gels from Fitment Industries, and we are back with another episode of What Wheels Fit. And I know it's been a minute since we've done one of these, and I have some sad news. This will be the last episode of What Wheels Fit, on this channel at least. We will be moving this series over to the second channel, Fitment Industries Garage. And if you haven't checked it out yet, I would highly, highly recommend it. It's where we have moved all of our wheel reviews, wheel videos, and now What Wheels Fit. So you can check out the link in the description below and head over there, subscribe, check out all the videos that we've done already, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, for this episode of What Wheels Fit, we're gonna be taking a look at the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 10. So real quick, before we get into it, don't forget to subscribe. Wheels, tires, and suspension, fitmentindustries.com. Boom! What we're gonna be looking at today is the last generation of the beloved Mitsubishi sedan and going over the common wheel and tire setups that we see in our gallery at fitmentindustries.com. Starting off, for the Evo 10, we have the recommended fitment sizes or fitment range of 17 to 20 inches in diameter, with widths ranging from 7.5 to 10.5 inches, and offsets landing anywhere right around between plus 15 to plus 45. So that is the baseline that we can use with determining what will for sure fit on these cars. But who likes to follow rules? So first up, let's go over some tucked fitment, because for those who don't want to run an overly aggressive type of fitment or want to run air suspension or something like that and get just dirt nasty low, if tucked fitment is something you are looking for with your Evo 10, you can look at getting something like an 18 by 9.5 plus 30 with some 245/30 tires and some airlift performance air suspension to just air it out. Other wheel and tire sizes that we see are 18 by 8.5 plus 38 with a 245/40 tire, 18 by 9.5 plus 22 with a 245/30 tire, and even a 19 by 9.5 plus 12 with a 245/35, and again on some airlift performance air suspension. So we can see that 18-inch diameter is pretty much standard, and a width around 8.5 to 9.5 and a surprisingly low offset can fit all that wheel inside of those fenders. Moving on to the second type of fitment we will cover with the Evo 10 is going to be the more popular flush or nearly flush fitment. Now this is where we see larger tire sizes come into play, as this type of fitment is preferred for those who are doing any sort of performance driving with these cars, and 18s are pretty much the standard across the board. So let's look at some examples of what can get you that aggressive flush or nearly flush fitment with these cars. First up, we see an 18 by 9.5, again a popular diameter and width with these cars, with a little bit lower offset around plus 15 and a tire size of 265/35, so a little bit thicker. Some Graham Light 57C6s and an 18 by 9.5 plus 12 with some 265/35 tires, or if you want to go up to a 10 wide, an 18 by 10 plus 22 with some 275/25s will work as well. So baseline for a flush setup with the Evo 10, 18-inch diameter for sure, either a 9.5 to a 10-inch wheel width and offsets ranging from plus 12 to plus 22 with a 265 tire on the 9.5 and a 275 on the 10. That's a solid starting point for this type of fitment. Quick note with that, however, on almost all these setups, the very minimum required is that the fenders are going to be at least rolled and in some cases pulled to make some extra room for all of that tire. And then finally, on to the last type of fitment that we're going to cover today on these cars. Just like any car on the market, people like to push things to the extreme just a little bit and run some stance fitment, whether that be fender to lip or something just really, really wide. So let's go through some final examples of what else can be fitted onto these cars. So first up, we have an 18 by 11 -3 on some air suspension running a 235/40 tire. Now obviously this setup requires a decent amount of stretch, but it can be done. Rolled fenders is an absolute must, and usually some other suspension mods are going to be needed. Things such as aftermarket lower control arms and camber plates to dial in that camber. So this example on the screen right now, we are seeing run 5 degrees of negative camber in the front and 4 degrees negative camber in the rear. Now on stock body Evos, we usually see 10.5 and 11 wides being the widest that they go. Of course, when you get into over fenders, you jump up to 12s and things like that. But at least in our gallery, that's what we are seeing. But we always like to throw a wild one in there and give a good example if that's something that you like to do, give you a solid reference point of where to begin looking if you're looking for that type of fitment. All that being said, that is going to wrap it up for this episode of What Wheels Fit. And like I said in the beginning, we will be now moving this series series over to Fitment Industries Garage, our second channel that is more suited for this kind of stuff. So you can check out the link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to that channel and this channel if you haven't already. All that kind of good stuff. And last thing before I head out, wheels, tire, suspension, you know, fitmentindustries.com. And if you're interested in seeing more of these wheel and tire setups, all this information was provided by our fitment gallery over at fitmentindustries.com as well. So you can head over there, check out plenty of more options that we just honestly just don't have time to cover because there's a lot of Evos in the gallery and it's awesome. And you can look at all of them. So that's gonna wrap it up. We will see you later. Peace.